Okay, so as we are doing our refactoring, there are some cosmetic things that we may want to change, and we can do some of those things manually, but there are also some tools to help us with that and to help us find problems. So I'm going to show you two that I like. These are tools that I built. You don't have to use them, but you might like them. So I have a VI here with some problems, and I am going to open up the blue formatter. So I created this auto formatter. It doesn't take the place of block diagram cleanup, so it doesn't do drastic moving stuff around, but it does fix some things. And here's a whole list of the things that it fixes. So it separates compiled code from source files. It turns off auto error handling and auto grow. If it detects that it's not a GUI, that's just a sub VI, and the front panel color is some weird color, it'll reset it. It changes the icon view. It moves error wires to the back. It removes the no error from the error in. These are all Natify steps. If you use the Natify tool, that's where I got all these, at least the first couple. It justifies the subdiagram labels to the left. It moves the labels to the side, makes them transparent. It replaces string constants. So if you have a string constant that's an empty string, it replaces with the empty string constant. If you have one that's a new line, it replaces with the new line constant. Because the string constant with nothing in it, or that's just got white space in it, doesn't look any different than the empty string constant. You can't really tell. What else does it do? String constant display style. So if you have a hex string, it will tell you it's in hex. If you have a slash code one, it'll display the slash code. It also shows the radix for numeric constants, hides on-wired iteration terminals, and then does some rearranging and resizing on the front panel of the block diagram to make sure it's all fits nice and snug. It also does some stuff for libraries and classes. So separates compiled code from those and from the project. It'll also remove the class mutation history, which generally is something that's a good thing to do. There are some caveats with that. It also removes LV class and LV lib from the localized name. So for classes, the localized name shows up on the property node. If you have that .lv class there, it makes it much wider. So we removed that to make that a little shorter. And a lot of these are just like little readability tweaks, but they can be helpful and it's useful. This is from Git Bash. So you can call it from Git Bash and run it on an entire directory full of files. And you can also run it from the project. So I'm going to show you how to run it from the project. So I have opened it here in the project. And I have some stuff going on here. You can see that these labels are center aligned. It's going to move those to the left. You can see I have an empty string here. It's going to replace it with an empty string constant. It's going to turn on the display for this hex string. And for the binary, you'll see the radix here. It's going to remove this on-wired terminal here. And it's going to replace these two with the smaller terminals. And it's also going to resize so if I make this like just a weird size, it's going to resize that. It's also going to like move these so that they match the connector pane. So let's connect this numeric down here and it'll match that. And so the way the blue formatter works, you can call it from the command line and point it to some files or directories, but you can also run it from the tools menu. And so when you start from the tools menu, it automatically figures out what the current project is, and it watches that directory. And when it sees you save the current file, so when I click here, you can see now I'm on the demo VI. When I save the demo VI, it's going to recognize that and it's going to run blue on it. You can tell because of this blue thing here. So this is like the auto watch feature. So you can start and stop that. So you can turn it off so it's sitting here and the GUI's open and it's not going to do that. If I start it, it's going to do that now. And there's also some other options. So you can browse and point it at a specific file or folder. You can run it on all the files in your project. If you're working in a team, that's not necessarily always the greatest option, because if you run it on all the files in your project, they will all change. And then when you make a commit, you're going to commit every file in your project. And it's likely that if somebody else is working on it in parallel, they're going to end up with conflicts. So that's nice when you inherit a project. The first thing you can do is, if you're the only one working on it, you're just like, hey, great, I'm going to format all this stuff in this project before I even take a look at it. That's great. But if you're working in a team, But there is a way around that. And if you click this change files button, what it does is it detects that you're using Git. So if you're not using Git, it's grayed out. But it detects you're using Git and it lets you run it only on files that have changed from one of the references. So you can type in a commit ref here, but you can also, the dropdown will populate with any tags or branches or something. So you can say, hey, since I branched off of my develop branch and started my feature branch, run it just on those files. And if you click that, it will do that. So that's a lot of explanation. Let's see in action. So I am going to put this over here and this here, and this blue light's on, so I'm just going to hit Control S for save, and you can see it did a bunch of stuff. It did not do that because I did not mark it as hex. So if I mark this as hex, I change the display style to hex, it's still not visible. But if I now save this again, it did make it visible, and actually it should have expanded that. I don't know why that part's not. That might be in the new version. But you can see it turned on the hex display string here, it turned on the binary string here, it replaced this with an empty string constant. There's no more iteration terminal here. These got shrunk, the labels all got moved to the sides. It resized this, it organized and realigned it and resized it. So it does a lot of interesting things. All these that were center aligned are now aligned off to the left. And it's a work in progress, so there will be a lot more things being added, and it will do a lot more little things to make your code just a little bit easier to read and understand. That said, those are just things that can fix automatically. Some things you need to be able to detect and fix on your own. So the normal solution for that is to run VI Analyzer, and if you run VI Analyzer normally, and you just run it on your project and you use the default settings, it will take forever. So I have a tool called Quick VI Analyzer. And what it does is it ships with a shortened VI Analyzer list of tests. So that's my preferred list of tests. I trimmed it down. I got rid of all the ones that I didn't think added value to me. But I encourage you to go edit that and set to whatever you want. But it's a quick drop shortcut, and it will only run on files that have changed in Git. So Control Space, Control Q will launch that. And it comes up and it says, okay, this is what do you want to diff against? So you can pick if you just pick head, that just means all the changes in your current working copy. So anything that you've changed and haven't added or committed to Git yet will show up. And you can do it against a specific commit if you want. There's some instructions there. And it gives you a list of all the files that have changed in a tree view, and you can double click and you can turn them off. So if you have a folder full of tests and you're like, I don't care about running VI Analyzer on my tests, you can do that. Or if you have some other reason that you don't want to run VI Analyzer on everything, you can also select all none. So you select it. This is not very interesting because I only have one file here, and then it points to the VI Analyzer config file. This is the one that it ships with in VI lib. If you change it and point to one in your project, it will remember that. So you can have one for your project, and every time you run Quick VI Analyzer, it will run in your project. It stores next to the project file, it stores a little JSON config file that points to that. So it will remember it, and you can check it in. So you have different ones for different projects. And now we hit next, and it runs. And when I said VI Analyzer is slow, there's only one file, and it's short, so that was long enough. But hey, it found some stuff. So if I sort by VI, right, it's just one VI. If I sort by test, it found some things. Like, for example, there's a bunch of unused code. Yep, that's true. Hidden objects and structures. I intentionally did that. I have something hidden off to the right side. So there's something hidden there that you wouldn't notice. So you might want to fix that. Probably picked up on this wire bend, picked up on this wire under structures, probably, and picked up on a bunch of other things. So, VI name. Why don't I like VI name? What is that test? Invalid characters. Demo.vi. Oh, do I have a space in there? Uh-oh. Looks like there's a space there. I don't know. Anyway, yeah, so I've got a while loop without a wait in it, so that's a tight loop. And there's a bunch of stuff with, like, you know, it's finding that I don't have any VI documentation because I didn't add any. I've got the default icon. There's a bunch of stuff that can be fixed about that. But this is nice because it only runs on the files that you've already changed. Again, it prevents you from stepping on each other's toes. So if you run VI Analyzer on your entire project, not only does it take forever, but if you go through and you fix anything, you're very likely to open up VIs that you haven't already changed. And when you change them, now it becomes a potential conflict. So that is quite useful. And I think that's it. You can get both of these on VIPM. I'll post the links in the video. Have fun.